I think you've got to look at it from a twofold perspective. The report said that police officers should show empathy and look at the situation as a whole. And then you had the other one that said, no, the law is the law. But then if you take what it would cost to prosecute that person, how much does that cost the taxpayer? Where if we deal with the root cause of why that person needed to shoplift, then surely there's a balance that can be met that can help these people out. All that's going to happen as the cost of living crisis increases, the number of shoplifters are going to increase unless something's done to sort this matter out. An old-fashioned view, I don't think so. Sometimes we've got to look at the bigger picture, not just that it was a shoplifter.
Chris Hobbs, let's turn to you. As I said, great to have your huge experience. How many years were you in the Met?
32.
Well, you look very well for it, sir, if I may say so. Now, Andy Cook, the new Inspector of Constabulary, obviously a very senior position. He is a former frontline police officer. Often, though, that position isn't a frontline police officer, it is now. He will have weighed his words carefully, and yet the minister seemed to slightly knock him down. Did the minister really have a choice?
It's a very difficult one, isn't it? Andy Cook is highly respected, Chief Constable, by the rank and file, by those at the sharp end. So what he said has caused some controversy even amongst his loyal supporters. Mixed reactions, really, from the police community. I think that basically police officers have always had discretion. I mean, Malthouse's comment just now isn't true. If you're stopped for speeding, the officer has the discretion to warn you or give you a ticket. I think many retailers would say at the moment that basically many shoplifters do get away with it. There's not the police time or the resources to investigate.
Sometimes the retailers are scared, right, if the people look intimidating.
That's right, yes, and it's a problem round my way for the smaller shops. And it varies from force to force. But I think the danger is, yes, police officers should exercise discretion. They're compassionate people. Officers now at the bottom end of the pay scale, the newer officers who are arriving, are being hit by this cost of living crisis as much as anyone. Hopefully they won't resort to shoplifting, but they're using food banks, for example. So I think discretion, yes, police officers should always be allowed to exercise discretion, but what you don't want is basically a shoplifter's charter, where anyone can go in, regardless of circumstances, and help themselves and walk out. And many retailers will say that's already the case. Unless there's violence, we'll dial 999, but we're not necessarily going to get a response unless there's that violent element to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of shoplifters anyway will be able to walk away with the gear. They might be stopped by a security guard. They might be banned from the store. But generally speaking, it's already a difficult problem. The problem we're going to have as it gets worse is the police response not only to this, but also to the mental health issues that this crisis is going to cause. And as any police officer will tell you, only 20% of their time is devoted to crime. The other 80% to other issues, particularly welfare issues and especially mental health. And you can only see the situation getting worse as people buckle under the strain of what's to come, especially next winter. So I think the police chiefs really do need to get their heads together and say, what are we going to do about this? How can we cooperate with the stores?